What's up guys, Phantom here back with episode 52 of my F1 2019 career mode as we're going to Spielberg for the Austrian Grand Prix for round 9 of season 3. As you can see here on our development chart, both our durability and power upgrade have passed and we are still 4th in line of best teams, as we also have our drag there at the bottom in our arrow as we will go to qualifying. As we start out here in Q2, as it is raining here as we are going wide, as it started to rain in Q1, so you had to get your lap in early, as it's now full on pouring here as we start going across the line to start our flying lap here, as it is in the beginning of the session, as it's supposed to get a little bit harder and then it's supposed to get lighter at Q3 as we are coming around through the last two corners here, as you take as much curb as you please here, as our teammate Raikkonen has set the fastest time, as we will come across P3 and be 10th and barely make it through to Q3 here, as Raikkonen's in 4th as we move on to Q3. As we are here in Q3, as it is finally fully dried out here at the end of qualifying, as Vettel has set the fastest lap, as while it is dry on the track, it's very greasy as all the rubber has washed off the track, as it is still a little bit slippery like it was in last year at Mexico when it dried up, as we come through the final two corners here, abusing the curbs as much as you risk. As we come off the line, as Verstappen sets the fastest lap, as we come across, and we will be on pole position as we beat out Verstappen by 1.5 tenths, as our teammate Raikkonen is in 5th position, as this is our second pole of the season after Canada, as we will move on to the race.
What a beautiful backdrop to a motor race. We're here in the Styrian Mountains, of course, and they've watched over some cracking races throughout the history of this Grand Prix. Controversy, of course, think back to 2002, but also great joy. Do you remember Niki Lauda's historic home victory in 1984? It's a short lap here in Spielberg with just 10 corners, 7 rights and 3 lefts, making up the total distance of 2.6 miles. And expect to see a lot of cars running wide today, especially through the last corner, as the wet conditions make the cars skittish through the downhill sections. And I'm joined once again by Anthony Davidson to bring you the lowdown for today's race. Why don't we start by talking about Valtteri Bottas? As ever, the threat of unreliability is never far away, and indeed they'll be starting out of position today due to a power unit component change. So it's going to be a difficult task to move forward from there.
But on the bright side, at least those fresh components can help them maintain the power they need to come through the pack. I expect to see them take a more aggressive approach today to make up for the compromised start.
It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Oldtimer lines up on pole position, edging out Max Verstappen, who'll start from P2. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Leclerc, Hamilton, Kimi Raikkonen and Butler, Norris, Vettel, Magnussen and Sergio Perez, Kvyat, Sainz, George Russell and Ricciardo, Stroll, Grosjean, Lucas Faber and Nico Hülkenberg. Giovinazzi and Valtteri Bottas begins the race from the back of the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
After we sit here in P1 after a brilliant qualifying performance, as it is raining once again like it is in France, and we are away, but once again it is raining, but we are on the soft tires, we are on dries, as we get a pretty average start, and we completely just lock up there and go straight on. We almost just went completely straight on, as we are getting a terrible run here, as we are getting swamped, and we are getting passed around the outside by Hamilton, as the McLarens have gotten off to a fantastic start, as we have outbraken and out-traction Vettel. But once again, just like in France, Leclerc and Verstappen have gotten out to great starts here, as we're going to look to the outside of Leclerc, as we will go around the outside here and kind of pinch him a little bit, as we're also going to get the traction off the corner there, as we kind of wheel spin there a little bit, as we're going to go a little defensive here as we get pretty loose there, way loose off of that curb there. We're going to have to go defensive into the penultimate corner here as we were coming on the lap 3 as Verstappen quickly set the fastest lap but was bested by us as we come on to lap 4 here, and we thought about making a move there into turn 4 there as we will once again on lap 5 think about making a move as he quickly just defends it as we are going to have to wait, and we don't quite wait long enough there as we couldn't quite get the switch back there on Verstappen as we come across the line as we once again has Verstappen been fastest across the line as we will once again try to get past him down here into the long right-handers. We wait this time just long enough as we get the switch back him and the traction, and we will just clear him coming into the middle sector here as we will come across the line and set fastest lap as it is starting to dry up on the track as we come into turn 1 here as Verstappen will have a look at us but will wisely back out there as we come onto once again the start finish line as we are just continuously pumping in fastest laps here as once again we set another fastest lap, but Verstappen this time has bested us as we come into turn 1 here as we take it pretty cautious as we don't want to run out too wide there as Vettel now has set the fastest lap here as this lap will really show you what's been happening the last couple laps here as we get a great run out of corners here, but Verstappen always just closes up to us here as he's right behind us, and then we just pull away here down the back stretch here as he is a good 5-6 car lengths behind us as we come into this long right-hander, and once again he catches right back up to us as we come to the end of that middle sector. He once again gets a very good run to the penultimate corner, but he cannot get to us as this is just showing you lap after lap what's been happening as we kind of go a little bit wide there as we just try to break the slipstream and set once again fastest lap as Vettel once again has set fastest lap as the track is just getting much faster as now even Weber is getting in on action and will set fastest lap as we are coming into the pits at the end of this lap here as we try to mount the curb as much as we can. We can get a very good exit the entrance there as we get a warning as we take it pretty cautious in there, don't want to get a penalty as it looks like a lot of cars will follow us up into the pits here as we come in as we are still P2 as it is a 2.1, but Norris will pass us for P2 there as we are still net first as we come onto the start finish straight to reclaim all the positions that we have not gotten back, including our teammate Raikkonen as right there Verstappen is just coming out of the pits, and even with a lot newer tires we've probably actually lost a little bit of time there as Verstappen just won't let us get away there as he is really catching up, and we take it pretty cautious, and he kind of like went for a dive bomb as Butler sets the fastest lap of the race, but that has really compromised him and he's almost out of the slipstream there in DRS as Ricciardo is out of the race here as once again he's caught back up to us as you can see Ricciardo there on the left, but he kind of messed himself up with that move as Verstappen is now kind of reclaimed fastest lap again as we were coming to the last lap of the race as Verstappen's giving it one more effort down here to the penultimate corner as we were going to manage to hold on there as he kind of had a little look there, but we will come on to win our second race of the season at Austria.
Yes, you've done it. Well done.
So Alfa Romeo have won it, and what a great race it was. Anthony Davidson, what helped them deliver this result, do you think?
Well, they certainly stood out as a driver with tons of confidence on the track. I think their ability to keep their cool, even during some of the more hectic parts of the race, meant they were able to capitalise on the mistakes of other drivers, giving them the opportunity to make their way to the top spot with ease.
So here they come now, out onto the podium. It's thrilling to see this team go toe-to-toe with the best teams in the sport and come out on top. What a superb victory from the Alfa Romeo team. And after this round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the drivers' table. It wasn't the best weekend for our championship leader, and their advantage at the top has been reduced. Now, let's discuss, Ant. Who would you say is a contender for driver of the day?
That's got to be the Flying Finn. Wait, how many Flying Fins have we had now? Anyway, I'm talking about Bottas this time. Just great raw speed, and a good job in traffic as well.
Let's move on to the constructors. The lead at the top comes down after a strong weekend from the challenging pack. Meanwhile, Toro Rosso's strong weekend allows them to continue their march up the table. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One.